All right, well, let's get into it. Here on all refs are stupid.
Let's go.
And boy, do I have a topic for you. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Okay. So we can both agree that referees are supposed to be the impartial, unbiased person in all sports in whatever we're doing, correct?
Yeah, that is the goal. That's the job of the referee. Yes.
That's the entire bloody thing. And I will read verbatim on this article that came out February 28th. Okay, so last Thursday. Okay. A North Carolina state swimmer was stripped of his conference title Saturday after he celebrated with his teammates who blasted the controversial technicality as the dumbest thing in swimming. Did you catch wind of this?
No, I have no idea what my swimming, follow through here on the sports.
You're not up to date on NCAA swimming, eh? Weird.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
Okay, you'll love this. So this is what happened. So the guy finishes the race. Okay, he wins first, and it's a 1,650-yard race. By the way, I still struggle treading water at the best of times. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So anyway, he wins the race, and his teammate comes in second place. Okay, and then. So while the race is still happening, because everybody's got to touch the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got to touch the board. That's the rule, right? The rule is you got to, when the race is going. So he gets up on the divider, okay? He kind of straddles the divider, and he massive celebration. The kid's 22 years old. He's clearly a senior. This is probably it for his swimming career. Or, you may have a chance at Team USA, whatever. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but. So he gets in the divider, and he's got this passionate celebration, and he's kind of straddling it, and his buddy's next to him. He's in the shot as well, too, and they're both, it's an amazing moment. And then while his hands are up, he falls into the other lane, into his second place's lane. Okay, while he's celebrating.
The race is still happening.
Well, sort of. Technically, yes. Okay.
You're saying
so you
I'm not up to speed with all of my swimming rules, but you're saying you said earlier that the race is still happening until everybody touches the the wall at the end or whatever.
That's right. So while this is happening,
this is what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So he's up there.
Like he crushed. Like he's waiting.
He crushed.
Yeah, he could have had 3 beers. He's waiting for everyone to come back.
Yeah, exactly. He's waiting. He's standing there like the Roadrunner, essentially.
Yeah.
Just right? Poolside. And he's having drinks. This is over. Because the person in lane 6 and 7, they're not done yet. Yeah. So he falls over in the lane, and immediately the NCAA official jumps on it and says, "You're disqualified." He hits him with a disqualified because he falls into the other lane. The ruling states that if another swimmer during a race shall be disqualified from that race if anybody who interferes with another swimmer. The race is over, you guys. The logic behind this.
So is that what the rule? Wait. So the rule says if he interferes with another swimmer? Did he fall on another swimmer that was still swimming?
He didn't. He did not. That is not. The rule states any competitor who interferes with another swimmer during a race shall be disqualified for that race, subject to the discretion of the referee. Mm-hmm. And I guess that little sentence at the end there.
Yeah, of course. They always give you the gray area.
Is exactly what makes the NCAA say, well, ref called it as he seed it. I guess. And
all refs are stupid.
All refs are stupid. And we live to fight another day. So this is actually what sparked me today being like, hey, Pistol, we got to talk about this. Okay. So here's why. So his second place is his buddy. Remember that, right? So they interview him. They're like, congratulations on the win.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I lost to my buddy. there's like
Attaboy.
there's no way. I'm not even going. So then they were like, okay, well, like I mean, you've got a podium to go jump on. And he's like, I'm not taking it. I'm not going. He's like, that's my
Taking a
buddy.
stand.
Yeah, he won. I didn't. That's the stupid. He even called it. He said it's the dumbest rule. He's like, you give me the medal, I'll give it to him. Basically, like I don't care. And like when you watch the clip of it too, like it is embarrassing. And I'm sorry, all refs in any professional sport or even like high div 1, you know, NCAA, you name it, you should all be embarrassed. Every single one of you should be embarrassed that you are calling yourself a referee today on this call alone. And I know what, like, famous referees that I've reached out to, we've had discussions about, and I'll quote Tim Peel. Tim Peel, the NHL referee, who did get, you know, eventually lost his job for having a hot mic on the NHL. He quoted once to me in Twitter, or X, whatever the hell you want to call it. He said, it all evens up at the end. Tim,
does that make it better?
Does that make it better? Like, how, in what world is this kid gonna get it even? Like, in what world?
Well, he's got a great fucking story. Let me tell you.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe money is what it'll talk, because this guy gets to talk about it for a while longer.
Yeah.
Like, here we are talking about it now in Canada, where I know nothing about swimming, except that I saw a rule that looks like it was absolutely just torched.
How did you find this clip? Actually, that's funny.
Isn't this crazy?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and it was like this is actually brought to me by a coworker of mine, and he was like, "You have to talk about this," and it got me so fired up this afternoon that I was like, "You're right. I do have to talk. Like, we have to talk about this immediately." Like, I was just it was crazy. And so I watched the clip, and then I was like, "Hold on," it's like, I got to do some research on this, and that's when I found out. I was like, there are swimming is very simple. It's very you get in the pool, you go the fastest, you that's it. Like,
it's a race. It's not
it's a race. There's no spirit points behind a race. Like, you do it the fastest, you'll probably win. Like, that's it, right? And so I was just like, for the amount of times that a referee would actually have to step up or step into a situation here, I bet you he was just like, you know what, it's been 55 years, we should probably call something, right? Like, we should probably do something about this. So I just found it ridiculous, right? Let's talk about something that you and I brought up. We brought this up a couple weeks ago, and that was the NHL salary cap circumvention.
Mm-hmm.
In the NHL, you have the ability to replace a player who goes on long-term injury reserve, meaning that if you spend to the cap whatever that player makes, you are allowed to go over by that much to replace him. The Vegas Golden Knights are very aware of this rule, and everybody around the league has been very apparent on it. The reason I'm bringing it up today is because I brought this up to my kid, who's 12, okay? 12 years old. And it was the funniest thing, actually. I told him, I'm like, yeah, it looks like Mark Stone's injured again. And he's like, well, what do you mean he's injured again? I said, well, they put him on LTIR, and they were able to go trade for 2 guys, and then they won the Stanley Cup. And then Mark Stone obviously, played every single one of those playoff games. It didn't look no worse for wear. Mm-hmm. Now, this year, he's got a lacerated spleen, 58 days out from the playoffs.
I mean, it sounds pretty fucking serious, though. Like, that's...
Yeah, okay, lacerated spleen, yeah, I'm not going to downplay how painful that probably is, okay? I'm also not going to downplay that it probably happened. I'm not even standing up and saying that. However, I found this interesting from my 12-year-old, and it's got some massive holes in it, but I thought it was interesting in the sense where a lot of us are looking for a solution on this LTIR BS that teams get to pull. For example, Tampa Bay didn't play Kucherov a few years ago too, and they were able to fill that team up, and next thing you know, they were playing with a $95 million roster, which, by the way, they won the Stanley Cup that year too. Shocker, right? Like, you give me $125 million, and I'm pretty sure you might find another team that is also a Stanley Cup champion. But regardless, if the rules are set for everybody to follow, you're good to go, right?
Yeah, that's the rule. It's the rule. We're just following the rules.
Yep, we're following the rules. That's right. So then my kid hits me with like just the most simple, most innocent way of putting it, and I had to share it. I was like, this is good enough. This is good enough for me as far as this podcast is concerned, which is a low bar, by the way,
Oh, very
low
low,
bar.
very low bar.
So he says to me, well, if he's been on LTR last year and he's on LTIR this year, then maybe he needs, a year off to think about it, or to fully recover. And I was like, that's genius. Like, it's as simple as is. And the way he thought about it was, well, maybe he's not healthy. And I and I thought about that too, and it was like, yeah, I mean, the LTIR was set up because the player is not healthy.
Yeah.
So like Mark Stone, like lacerated spleen is maybe a freak accident. Your back injuries continue to pile up like you're the oldest man in the NHL. Maybe you need a break. So I propose, and yes, there's massive holes in this theory, but I think you could start somewhere. I propose that the NHL says, well, okay, Team A, Vegas Golden Knights, for example, you've put Mark Stone on LTR last year, and this year he's coming on again. You have 1 year of good health before you are allowed to do anything with that player that results in LTIR, early retirement, and the penalty for it is he stays under cap. That's the penalty.
But
You've done LTIR.
He's still getting paid?
Well, he's still getting paid right now.
Yeah.
Right? So like,
no, but when he has to have the year off or whatever the rule is, he's still getting paid?
He still gets paid. Yeah. Yeah, if he gets a year off, he could
he burns up a year contract.
And you know what? Maybe the owners Sure. Maybe the owners turn around and they're like, you know what? Why should we have to pay him if he's going to be off? And like, hey, the CBA can step up and be like, well, hold on a second.
Yeah,
like,
that's
he
why
got injured playing.
That's why I was asking, because the union's definitely not going to let that not happen. So that's why I was asking.
Absolutely not. Right. However, that would now all of a sudden it becomes interesting because it's like, well, hold on a sec. There's this class action lawsuit happening right now with about 50 NHLers about concussion protocol where they make them play or not. Right. And so maybe the owners start looking at this and be like, well, I don't really want to be sued again. And lawyer costs are starting to get pretty expensive. So maybe, yeah, I could be on board with this, with sitting a guy for a year if they decide to pull that. Because, like I said, Mark Stone came back like a bat out of hell in the playoffs last year. If you told me that guy had a back injury, then I can dunk a basketball. Okay. Okay, and and we can't get ridiculous here because I'm 5'7". There's zero chance I'm bad. I'm dunking. You could set me in a gym for 40 years and say
5'7" on the back of your hockey card. You're 5'5".
There's no chance. There's no way it's gonna happen, right? Like it's just, and so like I thought about it, and I'd like to hear from others. What's your solution to this LTIR problem in the NHL? I mean, like, is it something that bothers lots of people? I'm sure the Vegas Golden Knights fans and the Tampa Bay Lightning fans love it. They're absolutely loving this idea.
Oh, yeah.
But again, it's about playing the rule, I guess. At the end of the day, it's about playing the rule, and that's going back to the swimming thing again. If the rule is this, maybe reevaluate that. Like, is that what we want? Is that what we want swimming to look like?
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. After watching that clip, like that is ridiculous. But
did you? Yeah, did you watch the clip?
Yeah,
Bad.
like the race is over. It's over.
Yeah, the race is so over, right? It's insane. So, did you say? So I sent you another clip. I pull it up on your phone.
I saw this.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah. Ridiculous.
So what do you like? What's your take on that? Now, like,
well, he hit the ball first.
Yeah, was like, I was in that realm too, where I was like, I think he hit the ball first. Am I crazy? And so like, I found it hilarious that so now here's another situation. And you and I have talked about this situation a few times, and it's going to continue to come up as long as we do this podcast. So VAR comes up. gentleman 27 on blue comes in and hits the ball first, but also takes out the guy's ankle. Like, by the way, that guy's never walking again.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
he can't be good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and like, it's an unfortunate play. He comes in really hard, but he does get the ball first. And so the referee looks at it as a dangerous play, but he flat out gives him a yellow right out the gate. Okay. Then he reviews his own call, and I thought it was interesting. There was a part in the VAR, and it's really cool for people who haven't watched the clip yet. We'll put it on whatever I'm about to post this on. But for people who haven't watched the clip, but basically what happens is the VAR official asks them to put it in real time, and he wants to see it again in real time from a different angle because obviously he's on the field, right? So he's looking to see it from the top. So he goes and he watches it again, and then that was the moment where he's like, "Yeah, that should be a red card." Meanwhile, you slow it right down, and you can actually see the guy get the ball first. And in real time, I thought the referee also saw that he got the ball first. So he then comes up to the player, and he cancels his yellow and pulls out a red. And immediately, like for anybody who's not a soccer person, that's an immediate ejection, and your team's playing short the whole rest of the game. I thought it was crazy to me that like I thought the definition of the rule is as long as you're touching, if you get the ball first. I thought that was okay, but I mean,
what do I know? That's what I thought.
what do I? What do I know? Right?
I just get like sorry, I don't watch enough soccer, but like, can they just VAR whatever the heck they want? Like, is there a limitation or?
Yeah, that's a good question, and because I've seen now like this one was the furthest one from a net that I've ever seen. I think because it was a caution play, and then they've changed it now that if you want to eject somebody on that call and what the VAR rules and again, like that's probably something else that probably another podcast day is that they continue to change and move and are very fluid. From watching the World Cup, I never remembered a single call from back there that VAR was only used for basically a possible handball in the box that was missed.
Yeah.
Possible penalty shot that was missed. And by the way, there's a there's a pattern here, Mr. Referee. By the way, you missed all these calls, and yes, the game is fast, and yes, you're only a human being, but like.
But now you're missing things on VAR. Like, so if the call is, like, I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, if you win the ball, right? So you hit the ball, like what kind of happens after is just sort of like, consequence of the rest of the play. Like that's my understanding of it. And I just don't understand. Like he slowed it down so many times, and even that clip, he's like, "Hey, this is the clip I want him to see. Like this is the clip I want to show him, or whatever." Right? And it's like, well, what about what happened right before that? Right? So, but I think that's how all this has started, right? Like even in hockey. So what were they able to do video replay on? Like it was goals only, and now, I mean, offsides. Yeah. Like what's next?
Well, and that's I don't know, like, because the other thing that I want them to see is if you're going to review everything, then I think you should have to review it in real time. It's always been my thing is making sure that it's done in real time, right? To me, I don't see the benefit of slowing something down to the millisecond and seeing just like it going back and forth. Like, by the way, also, like, if you're this guy's family, I'm sure like the guy who basically ruptured his, A through ZL on that ankle of his, basically it's, seeing that ankle go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth in the clip, probably not a good
slow-mo and super slow-mo. No, one more frame, please. One more frame.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, guy goes home to his wife. He's like, how'd this happen? Well, here you go, right?
I saw it. Over.
Back and forth. Ankle goes up, ankle goes down, ankle goes up, ankle goes down. Like it's so bad. But
I know a big thing for not having video replay on everything, when the technology was first coming into, whatever league, is there's a certain TV slot for the game, right? And I wonder, this is just maybe an out there call or whatever, but like as there becomes more and more boring shit on TV and everyone's just streaming stuff, like, does that just go out the window? Nobody cares. Like if the game goes over half an hour because you're video replaying absolutely everything, like, oh, well, that's good for the ads. That's making more money. Good for the sponsors, right?
Yep. Yeah, and you could be completely onto something, because I mean, again, like going back to the sport is a business, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
absolutely, it is 100% a business. More
Of course.
airtime, yada yada yada. Like, by the way, you and I's men's league don't have a VAR rule, right? But there are VAR
Oh, yeah,
rules.
because the under 11's got to come on at
Yeah.
45 past the hour. So it's like, let's go, boys.
Yeah, Billy's got his karate practice here. We got to get going here,
That's
right?
right.
Like, so there are principles, and I just looked it up, but there are principles to VAR. Is a match official with independent access to match footage, who may assist the referee only in the event of a clear and obvious error or a serious misincident. Okay, and those pertain to these four things, and it says it specifically: a goal or no goal, penalty, no penalty, direct red card, so not second yellow or caution, so a direct. And then mistaken identity, when the referee cautions or sends off the wrong player for an offending team. So that's when he steps in. I guess that would be the difference. So the VAR official in that clip that we're talking about, he's the one who was like, I want you to see this. Me reading this definition of the VAR, and that it's like an actual official, and then two officials getting together, is actually worse for this.
It's compounding the issue.
It's compounding the issue, going back to the title of the podcast. All refs are stupid. Now the two.
Oh boy.
Now the two. Yeah.
What's your solution here?
Now it's the two.
VAR is not actually a ref. It's his wife.
Yeah.
He's like, you idiot. How did you miss that? And in sticking with what they're doing with soccer, you get to hear it all. Oh. Entertainment value through the roof. I love it. I love it.
That's who it should. The ref and the VAR ref should also have their wives in there, right?
Yeah.
Like,
no, that is the VAR ref. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
oh man, never. Yeah, now that game that was scheduled to be 2.5 hours just went to like 5. Because constantly it's just like, I'm doing the, you can't see it doing the podcast, like it's a podcast, but I'm doing the square, rectangle, whatever symbol right now. She's like, get your ass over to the phone. I need to tell you where you fucked up. Again.
Here are the many fuck ups that you had, by the way. Yeah, exactly. And that was just the last 5 minutes, by the way. From your shoes. By the way, you look awful.
Yeah.
And your breath.
I told you not to wear those shorts.
And I told you not to wear that. I told you not to wear that. Yeah.
Love it.
Anyway, I'm really glad I looked that up actually now and understand a law about like, this is an actual official. And then, so therefore, when you see something that's a VAR, it's not just some plug sitting there. Essentially, it is another official.
It's another plug.
Yeah, he's saying you screwed up, and then now the two of them can go tip to tip on each other essentially, and decide, oh yeah, no, I'm so great.
Maybe they just need some background music during it. It's like
yeah, just the clown music playing in the background. Like, oh, if I ran the music at any of these things, I assure you, England would run me out of their bloody country essentially. So fast. Oh man, I like it. Man, that started. So we started with cap circumvention. We somehow got into English Premier League soccer.
There you go.
Here we are. Okay.
Equal opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, I mean, hey, we're looking for sponsors, right?
just right out of the gate. Let's go.
No, we're doing this solo for the first sponsors. We won't even take your emails for the first year. Okay,
we'll pay you actually.
Yeah, chance we pay you. There's a chance we pay you.
That's how it works, right? No,
yeah, exactly. Okay, so and I want to get it. Every episode, I want to get into like minor league or like men's league or some BS call that anybody's had. So I'm gonna tell you this. I'm going to tell you this story from, again, my kid's soccer game, okay? And this is gold, okay? And actually, I've had so many incidents in the last, like, 2 or 3 weeks now in this stupid sport we call indoor soccer. But this one I thought was the funniest from the weekend, okay? So my kid's got an amazing player on his team, and he's not my kid. Okay, so I mean, I'm not even gonna take credit for him. He's a monster. Okay, we've now been questioned about his age. I think 3 or 4 times. He's 13 years old. He's taller than me. Yes, I know that's a low bar.
Yeah.
Low, yes, I get it. I get it. It's a low bar. Okay, so the rule in soccer in general is that once a free kick is taken, you can't touch it twice, right? Well, in
Yeah.
indoor soccer, same thing.
Mhm.
Except the boards do not count as a person either. So this has happened a few times too, where you shoot the ball,
Oh, it
it
happens
goes
all the
off,
time.
right, goes off the backboards, and it comes right back to the person, and he has no choice but to touch it, right?
Mhm.
So it's then you lose possession, right?
Whistle down. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what happens. So this player fires the ball, and again, he's a monster, right? So fires the ball from a good spot. It hits the crossbar so hard that it goes straight down and straight back up. Okay, so now the ball is about 45 feet in the air. As it starts to
What?
come down, yeah, it's up in the air. It's high up in the air, and then it starts to come down. And I see this player, and this player jumps over the wall.
Come on now. How big
I'm
was the
not.
fish?
I'm not
45
even.
feet up in the air. This
Uh,
Herculean man jumping over the wall. Come on now.
I'm not even kidding you, because the
No.
wall, like the wall, was full of kids that were like 4'11", 5 feet. So the ball's up in the air. He jumps over the kid in the wall to head it into the net. Now the place is going bananas. This is the 2-0 goal. The place is going crazy in the gold medal match, and there's so much hype and commotion over basically what's been one of the nicest goals ever scored in indoor soccer, I'm sure, history. The guy jumps over a wall to get the ball, and then I sat there and I was like, "Oh, that's impressive." And then everybody's going ballistic, and then I thought, real quick, wait a second,
VAR.
no one touched that ball. It was just him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so VAR would have
Yeah.
stepped in
Yeah.
and taken it away. So I'm sitting there as the coach. I'm like, well, I don't even know what to do now. Like I was, okay, I guess we'll just take it at this point, right? But nobody, not even the other team, noticed the fact that this had not touched.
Oh, so it's a goal.
I'm-
They called it a goal.
They called it a goal. Yeah,
Oh.
no, sorry. Goal was called on the field.
Yeah.
Everybody's going ballistic.
Yeah.
Because it's basically the nicest goal we've seen all week.
Yeah.
And we walked away and we were like, okay, I guess so. And then I thought about it. Yeah, like in that moment, I was probably the only person
But no,
and noticed nobody else touched it.
Wow. See, if the ref's wife was on the other end of
Yeah.
the VAR, he would have caught that a mile away.
A mile away. Yep. So I guess thankful for that.
There you go. Thank God all refs are stupid.
Yeah. There's the benefit of
won the Little League championship.
There you go, Tim. All refs are stupid is okay sometimes.
Yeah, when it works out for you. Thank God all refs are stupid. But
Boy,
most of the other time, it's
yeah.
like, fuck that guy. That's awesome.
Anyway, yeah, I thought that was awesome. So, all right, well,
Okay.
anybody has anything they want to reach out to, feel free. We'll put the email address up, the Twitter handle up. We're gonna start running Twitter. Here we go. Or X.
Let's do it.
Do you X me now? Is that the deal? Are you supposed to?
I think
X
that's
people?
what it is. Yeah.
Oh, X me all day, right? Like I gotta start using that more. X me. There we go. Okay, great. All right, well, good luck editing this.
Yeah. All good, man.
Okay, we'll sign off then.
Peace.